pouring oil into a fire to make things even hotter. Maybe that is the definition of an Ashes contest, and that is why it is the OG when it comes to cricket rivalries. Now, in the 2023 Ashes, you have already had lots and lots of spice, all thanks to the incidents that happened at Lord's. Usman Khwaja getting abused, then Johnny Bairstow stumping. But before the Lord's Test, there was one more incident that happened which already lent a bit of an edge to the Ashes, and that was Ollie Robinson. Now remember, Ollie Robinson is writing a column for a reputed website in this Ashes series. He, along with James Anderson, Stuart Broad and all, they all have their columns running on various newspapers in the United Kingdom. So at this point, Ollie Robinson already set a lot of, you may say, hearts fluttering when he decided to pen a kind of strange column on Wisden during the Edgbaston Test. Now, in the aftermath of it, he has once again penned a column, but yet again, Ollie Robinson may kind of be the symptom of England's Casball, Bazball, Patball, Delball approach, whatever you may want to call it, because he has yet again come up with a rather strange twist to the Lord's Test match. He's spoken about the Johnny Bairstow incident. He's also spoken about how, despite dominating for most parts at Lord's, how Australia actually lost the plot. This video, I will tell you those two quotes which will add further fuel to the hostilities heading into Leeds. So, it was a rather convoluted thing that he spoke on the Wisden column, where he said that Robinson's weird take on the spirit of the game. It's such a vital point in the game. Agreed. Let us break down the points one by one. It's such a vital point in the game. Agreed. Spirit of the game is indeed very, very vital. We do not want off-field controversy. We don't want abuse. We don't want all these kind of things. But Robinson's conveniently forgotten that it was his send-off to Usman Khwaja which kind of touched the lines of the spirit of the game. I'm not even getting into individual preferences. For me, that abuse was in violation of the spirit of the game. But in a game, in a big international setting, this happens. Sometimes emotions can get the better of people. Agreed. Tension, high pressure situations. Yes, you cannot function like robots. Absolutely agreed. Ollie Robinson then in this justification can say, yes, emotions can get the better of people. Remember, Usman Khwaja had really frustrated the England batters in Edgbaston. So, he will feel that it is legitimate right to give that kind of an excuse and that kind of a send-off. So, let's have a 50-50 debate on this. In such a big series, I think it's understandable. Ollie Robinson's kind of caught up in between whether it is right or wrong about the spirit of the game. He's totally backed his captain. He said that if the shoe is on the other foot, it will definitely not fit. He's agreed with Ben Stokes' comment, like he would have called the player back. But conveniently, Ben Stokes and the entire England cricket team have forgotten that they have done this in the past. Bairstow, in one particular county match that happened, in 2014, he said it is within the rules, so he decided to do it, and that was much more blatant, by the way. You can have a look at that video that's surfacing. And guess who inspired Johnny Bairstow to do that? A certain Matt Pryor. Even Pryor used to do that. So, since the shoe is not on the other foot, England are kind of caught up in a catch-22 situation. So, he's making some very weird, you may say, trying to be the ultimate diplomat here. Yes, it's a vital point. Agreed totally. But England have to follow that. Sometimes emotions can get the better of you. Indeed, it happened with Ollie Robinson in Edgbaston. But for many, it was the violation of the spirit of the game. But in an international match, these kind of things happen. In the Indian context in particular, everybody will say, oh, you cannot do this kind of abuse is worth it. Because Virat Kohli's aggressive celebrations have made it a very, very legitimate thing indeed. In such a big series, I think it's understandable. Of course, it's understandable. But you cannot then harp on the spirit of the game in that sense. But it is this next line which is really kind of buying into the propaganda that Bazball is really flouting about. He says, for an hour or so, you saw the Aussies lose the plot a little bit. 50-50. I agree. Ben Stokes was really going after him, and going after the Aussies in the most brutal way. The switch was turned on according to Ollie Robinson. The switch was turned on for brutality, and Ben Stokes really took it to the Australians with a brilliant 155, one of the best we have seen. They really didn't know what to do or where to bowl. This is the point that I may slightly disagree with Ollie Robinson, because what did Australia do? They spread the field. If you have a look at the game very closely, for 6 overs, only 9 runs came about. Pressure was building up. Australia knew, yes, Cameron Green knew, Hazelwood knew that yes, the lines were missed. They bowled wider off stump. 9 fielders outside. Everybody will be very easy to label it as cowardice or okay, maybe Australia were really scared. But why doesn't the same argument apply for MS Dhoni when he set a 7-1 field? He instructed his bowlers to bowl the 7-1 field, wide outside off stump, drying the runs up. This is called tactics. And Australia lost the plot a little bit. He's kind of 50-50 on that, although they knew Stokes would be that kind of clutch player at that time. They really didn't know what to do or where to bowl. Disagree on that part, because after the initial onslaught, they had a plan. 6 overs for 9 runs. Then Stokes, how did he get out? He top edged a ball that was wide outside off stump, and the plan worked. So Australia did not know this argument. In fairness to Ollie Robinson, if that same plan was in 2019, I would have agreed with him totally that Australia didn't know what to do, because at that time in Leeds 2019, Australia really were clueless against the Stokes onslaught. That's the power and the impact that Stokesy has. Absolutely agreed. Stokes is the greatest clutch player that we have in the modern era. Yes, big game, bigger the contributions, Ben Stokes can really do it. So, Ollie Robinson's latest column is like the lost the plot bit is a bit convoluting, and it's a bit, you may say, once again masking England's inefficiencies, because for 4.5 days it was England playing catch up. But is anybody talking about the fallibilities at Edgbaston and what happened at Lord's? No. The main question is that the spin master, the ultimate spin master, Aussies lost the plot. That will be the thing heading into Leeds. So, it is kind of a clever way to mask England's inabilities, but at the same time, Ollie Robinson is kind of confounded about the spirit of the game. He wants to echo England's sentiment, but he's also in a catch-22 as to it is within the rules. It's a vital point indeed. So, confused, maybe in a conundrum in that sense. Ollie Robinson better ensure that he puts up a great show at Leeds. Last time he played at Leeds, it was great. But all this propaganda that's there, it only ensures that if England lose at Leeds, then it will all come back to bite them really hard. It's a last chance for England and Bazball, because remember, for all the greatness that Bazball did right from New Zealand, from Pakistan, if it backfires, then it backfires spectacularly. Australia are playing conventional cricket. Some things don't change in cricket, and that is that. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this video. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.